Good morning, YouTube. Finally getting around to making my nootropic video. I've been meaning to do this for a long time, but for some reason I always got interrupted or something happened. I got distracted. So I made some talking points here. Why did I look into nootropics in the first place? That was back when I was taking my first year of university. Well, I shouldn't say year, I only went for a semester in Flagstaff. And I figured that since I was sort of a dingbat, well, no, actually, I was just, I don't know. I love just trying new things. That's the main reason. Just seeing what things do to me, you know? That's really interesting. How can I alter consciousness? It's always been something that's interesting to me. Ever since I learned about it in middle school. Internet, I was reading text files, like old text files from BBS days, about just people's experiences on different substances. A lot of it seemed, now looking back, a lot of it seemed over-exaggerated stories and stuff, but it was interesting nonetheless. So the main reason I'm looking into nootropics was novelty seeking. I think Terence McKenna has some interesting points about novelty and the edge of the universe. You have like beginning of time and space or whatever, and then as you expand out, you get to this. I forget what he calls it, like the 0 point. I don't know. I forget. Whatever. That's a different video, different topic. But personally, I have genetic codes that make me a novelty seeker. For some reason. I was hoping to, get better grades and maybe stick with university all the way through to the end with the nootropics, but unfortunately I didn't really feel any effects whatsoever from them when I tried them. So that brings us to the first experiences. I started with Piracetam, and this bottle used to contain DMAE. So let me mark those off here. So DMAE and Piracetam were the first combo that I took. So DMAE is a choline supplement, which is a precursor to the acetylcholine neurotransmitter, which controls movement and memory. Well, has a role to play in movement and memory. As you can say the same thing for dopamine. Am I right, guys? If you know anything about neurotransmitters, you're like, yeah, actually, yeah. So that's sort of the whole deal with the choline supplements, which a lot of anecdotal reports that I've read on the internet said to take choline with Piracetam, because, to be honest, I don't really know what the because is. Well, because you'll get headaches, if you don't. Supposedly it makes your brain burn through choline a lot faster. If that's true, I don't know. Really don't. I don't really know the details of a lot of these things. Not proud to admit that, but that's just the way it is. So if you're interested in researching more, there's plenty of information, and Wikipedia is a great place to go. And I'm actually thinking about making individual videos for nootropics, sort of for my own benefit, because, like I said, I'm not proud that I don't know these things, and also for the benefit of everyone else, to get sort of a too long didn't read summary about each of these chemicals. So anyway, let's just go down the list here. I plan on just going down a list of all these chemicals that I've remembered, that I've tried, that I think would fall into the nootropic or smart drug category. Oh, I just remembered another couple. Well, I remembered visually. I don't remember the name. Oh, here it is. Modafinil. And then what's the other one? Armodafinil. And of course, see, this is getting into more pharmaceuticals in my opinion. We'll just do amphetamine, I don't know. We'll leave amphetamine and the what I would consider stimulants more than smart drugs. Even modafinil and armodafinil, I would think I would consider stimulants more than smart drugs, and caffeine too. So anyway, CDP choline. It's this guy here. I only got 25 grams. I got it a long time ago. It seems like a more potent version of a choline supplement. When I take it, sometimes the tips of my fingers become tingly. I think that's probably due to the flood of acetylcholine, or just, I don't know, this stuff makes that happen, sort of a tingling sensation. I found it to be not that helpful. I'm not looking for any sort of energy boost, or any sort of weird side effects like that, so I don't really take that. Choline bitartrate, that's what's in this bottle right now, actually. It smells like fish. It's sort of interesting. I take a 1/4 teaspoon in the morning with a 1/4 teaspoon of Piracetam most mornings, and that helps with mood regulation, definitely. Otherwise, I go through some pretty heavy ups and downs. And it's just like, you know, one thing I noticed in particular is if I don't eat very much during the day, or I skip lunch or something, I will get a lot more frustrated very easily and blow up on people sometimes. And Piracetam just whoosh, levels that out, lets me sort of take control of that. Say, settle down, to my internal doggy, I'll call it. So it's choline bitartrate. Oh, okay. Actually, so the second coming here. So the first experience is, like I said, I didn't really feel any difference on the DMAE and Piracetam. So I had a container of Piracetam and a container of DMAE just sitting around for years, actually. Yeah, a couple years. Yeah, for a couple years. And I went through some, I guess you'd say, difficult times, or something, where I pretty much hurt myself, I guess, with chemically burned my brain out a bit. And that's where a lot of my, I think it really emphasized that tetchy nature of mine. And I was really suffering as I was getting out of all that mess, and just on a whim, like I had just left my mom's house to go, like, I just started spending the night at my dad's house because we were at odds, and I was back over at my mom's house picking up stuff, and I saw the old Piracetam DMA jars, and I was like, okay, I guess it can't hurt, might as well finish this off. And I took it over, and it was a miracle that I finally started not feeling so terrible all the time. It's not like it made me happy or anything, but it just sort of lifted the black cloud. It just left a gray cloud above me, and it also like evened me out, like I said before. So that's when that's the second coming. That's when I discovered the benefits of Piracetam at that point in my life. And then after that, after I was getting comfortable being myself again, I started up my experiments. Also learned, I just got my 23andMe DNA test back, so I have difficulty learning from mistakes, supposedly, or something. I don't know. So anyway, so I started my experiments back up, and that's why I have such a long list here. So after Piracetam, and I was ordering more, I decided to try other Racettam varieties. The first one I tried was Aniracetam, which is a fat-soluble nootropic. The slightly different action from Piracetam. I don't know the exact, well, maybe I shouldn't even say slightly, it has a different action, I know that much. But it gave me I don't know, it sort of almost put me in a hypomanic state, which is just like just under, you know, not quite manic, but just sort of gave me this uncomfortable buzz where it's like, oh no, this is not where I should be. This is a little too exciting right now. So I still have a bunch of this. I don't really take it that often. Maybe like once a year, I don't know. But I've never really had that hypomanic reaction again. But it's just not something I need, you know, or use very often. The effects that I get from it aren't what I'm looking for in an experience. So anyway, going to Oxiracetam. I didn't really feel anything at all from that, so I don't know. Maybe it was bunk stuff or just very subtle, or it just doesn't affect me. Newpept. There's a Noopept container. That's that. I don't take this very often either. I don't know how to describe its effects. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe slightly more awake. I don't know. It's just another one of those where it's just like, oh, it's not that useful. Or perhaps, I don't know. Anyway, here's the next one, Phenibut, which is, in my opinion, not really a nootropic as much as it is a anxiolytic, I think that's how you pronounce it. Anxiety killing or anxiety reducing substance. It works on the GABA system, so you have to be careful with drugs that work on the GABA systems like alcohol, Phenibut, and so on and so forth. There's pretty nasty withdrawal symptoms if you end up, you know, say if you started taking this like an alcoholic, or, you know, taking it every day, taking 2 grams every day, you know, your system will downregulate, and if you drop the Phenibut, I've actually read stories of people dying. I don't know if that's true or not, so be careful. I don't have any right now because, you know, it's very useful, you know. It's very, you know, stress reducing. It works, so. But I haven't ordered anymore just because it's just like a treat. That's why I see it. It's like, okay, it's a treat. Also, yeah, there's another one. This is more pharmaceutical too, and I wouldn't even call it a nootropic, but it falls in the same category as Phenibut. Propranolol, and that's a beta blocker, and that blocks a lot of the stress hormones from getting to your like heart and other parts of your body, so that's super useful. Let's see here, L-Theanine. Big bag of L-Theanine. L-Theanine is the sort of relaxing component. It's an amino acid. It's the relaxing component of green tea. So green tea contains both L-Theanine and caffeine, which is next on the list here. And at one point I was taking, I would say, 50 milligrams of caffeine and 100 milligrams of L-Theanine, making my own super synthetic green tea, mix it with orange juice, wake up in the morning, zip it down. And that's what I did today too, and a lot of the days I still do that because it's a good little combination. L-Theanine burns off or I can't say burns off, it reduces the jitteriness of caffeine, things like that, so you get this nice calming and alertness of the mind at once. I don't take 50 milligrams of caffeine anymore. Actually, I was taking up to 100 milligrams at one point, but the addictiveness of caffeine is just pretty terrible. You better if you want to stop, you really need to taper off, or else you'll go through periods of your life where your eyes feel like they've sunk into the back of your head, and your brain feels like it's made of Play-Doh and folding in on itself, and it hurts. So here's another one. This one I just sort of randomly picked up from a eBay dealer when I was getting my CDP Choline and Noopept, since I was getting more Noopept since I enjoyed it, you know, somewhat. It's like a, you know, every once in a while thing. And Centrophenoxine, from what I remember, I haven't done that much research. It's an Alzheimer's drug, helps with memory. I've taken it probably less than 10 times, you know, five times so far in my life, and I haven't really noticed that much of an effect with it. But it may not be that type of drug that you get that instantaneous effect. It might be the type that you need to take it over a long period of time, but I don't know. It's a big question mark here. That's why it would be useful to make an individual video and really outline the whole thing. And these are my most recent ones here. We have Semax from Centropic nasal spray. Actually, it's attention. This product is not for human consumption, so it's not really nasal spray. It's more, you're supposed to spray it on your test slugs. And Tianeptine. That's 1 gram of, or approximately 1 gram of Tianeptine in here. And these are both very interesting. I'll put exclamation marks by them because it's like, oh, they both do something very noticeable. This is a wonderful antidepressant, Tianeptine. I should have, you know, like, I took it one day, I felt good, and then I had some sort of trigger the day after, and I was feeling really down. I was afraid that I was feeling really down because of the Tianeptine, but I tried Tianeptine again day before yesterday, and I had no after effects the next day, no crash or anything. So I feel like that was just one of my, I hit a real nasty, well, I can't say nasty, I just hit a bump in my spirit world journeys. If that makes sense. Probably doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I felt like I was harassed or something, and that really bummed me out. It really knocked the wind out of me. But anyway, this stuff is not really a nootropic. I wouldn't say it makes me feel smart or anything, but it makes me feel like not terrible. You know, it actually brightens the mood a bit, which is wonderful. Semax, on the other hand, is probably the most nootropic I've tried. Like, I've done it, you know, a few days in a row, took a break, another couple days, and it's 200 micrograms per spray, and I think the least I've tried in a day is 200, and the most I've tried I think is up to like 600, so it's either 1 squirt or 6 squirts or sprays, and like I actually feel like a lot less, like sometimes I feel like my head has a piece of Play-Doh in it somewhere, like, you know, part of my brain is gooey and sticky. Well, this sort of just dissolves that area, and it actually wakes you up too, so you get that sort of alertness, which is really neat. Anyway, so that one's really cool. Definitely worth exploring more. So let's see, let's go down. We have one more bag here, and that's L-Tyrosine. Can't really see the label, but that's another amino acid like L-Theanine. And it has to do with the dopamine system. Like, I know you can't take L-Tyrosine with L-Dopa because I guess you'd have too much dopamine in your system. So if people complain about having ADHD and stuff like that, I always suggest, why not try some L-Tyrosine? Because it's like one of the most subtle, non-speedy ways of dealing with that sort of system, the dopamine system in your brain. Give it a little extra boost relatively safely. So then beyond that, we have these three here, which I think are more pharmaceuticals. Modafinil and Armodafinil. That's two isomers, or this is like the racemic. Modafinil is the racemic, and Armodafinil is the one of the isomers of that racemic mixture of chemical. And it's the wakefulness drug. So people who have narcolepsy or work shift disorder, where they have to, you know, start working at 7 o'clock p.m. and all the way till 7 o'clock in the morning, they get prescribed modafinil or armodafinil. And yeah, it's like if you need to program for 48 hours straight, like take a couple of those, you know, spread out, and you won't need to sleep. Of course, that's not healthy, and you shouldn't be doing that. But that's one way of abusing it. Another way is, or one way of using it is just taking it like a half in the morning, like 50 milligrams in the morning. That's what some people do every day. I don't really feel comfortable doing that either, but that's what some people do. I did notice it did help me with my ADHD sort of symptoms and things like that, but it's a rare treat for me. And then finally we come down to Propranolol, which is the beta blocker, and that really helps with like social anxiety. So Phenibut I used to use, but now I just have Propranolol tablets that I think I take around 20 milligrams or 20 to 40 milligrams before going out. That's usually the case. So anyway, that's my list of nootropics here. I hope that was educational.